In this video, we're going to learn how to approach soloing and improvising over any chord progression. You will learn things like triads, scale shapes, licks, guitar modes, and much more. Don't forget to download the free backing track that I'm going to be using, as well as a free PDF guide that will further explain everything I went over in this video. So let's start with hearing the track and breaking down the chord progression. So this track is in the key of A major and contains several chords within the progression. Since I'm the one who made it, I know that all the chords in this progression are all within the key of A, so we don't have to worry about any key changes. Now, when we are presented with a chord progression, it's good to break it down anyway and compare it to the notes within the key. This is good for many reasons, like understanding the pattern of the progression, seeing if there are any odd chords within it, and other things like that. I'm going to show you how to do that real quick, just so you can do this to other progressions that you'll find yourself playing over. So here are all the chords within the progression, and here are all the notes within the key of A major. See how they're all within the A major scale? This just tells us that there are no odd notes or chords that would require us to play a different scale over that different chord. So now that we know for sure that this is in the key of A major, let's begin to approach how we can solo over it. With a progression like this, I would normally start out with the major pentatonic scale. I would noodle around with it, hear what licks sound best, what note choices sound better over the chord changes, getting comfortable with the progression, etc. So let's start out with that, hear what it sounds like, and then we can add other things to it that will make it sound even better. Wondering what it is that I'm playing, I'm just playing the 5-note major pentatonic scale. I'm using the relative minor pentatonic shapes in F sharp minor and some other combined A major pentatonic shapes. This shape right here is one of my favorites to play because it spans across 7 frets. I would learn this because it's a lot of fun to use and it really connects all those other positions together. Now this shape is fine and all, but I want to spice it up a little bit. I want more to work with than just the 5-note pentatonic. So what we can do now is blend that major pentatonic with the major scale or the Ionian mode. Listen to how the solo sounds now with these added notes. It sounds much more sonic and full. So if you want to get started with adding these extra notes, here are the 7 positions of the major scale all across the fretboard. Now, if you notice, the major pentatonic shapes are within these major shapes. So if you're already familiar with those pentatonic shapes, then all you have to do is add those extra notes. I'm not going to get into what the notes or intervals are called from this major scale. That will be for a later video where I explain more about the guitar modes and what they are made of. So if you want to see when I post that video, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and get notified when I post it. Okay, so now we know these scale positions, how can we go to the next step to work on our leads to play with the progression instead of just playing random notes within those scales? The answer to this is triads. When you first learn about them and how to use them, they may sound a bit robotic within your solo, but honestly, that's how you get started with them. The more you practice and learn them, they become a super important tool that can make your leads sound amazing. Triads can just help give your solo that proper direction if needed. If what you're playing isn't sounding too great or you get lost within the progression, they act as a base to get you back on your soloing feet. So here's an example. During a part of the song, the chord progression goes like this: A major, D major, F sharp minor, E major, C sharp minor, and D. We can use one of the many triad shapes for each of these chords if you choose to. When I said earlier that these triad shapes can sound a bit robotic, that would be the case if you use them over every single chord. In my opinion, it doesn't give your solo much feel, which I think is very important in a solo, so it's best to use them here and there instead of constantly. Here's an example using them over every chord versus using them here and there. Do you see how the second one sounded a bit more natural? That's how you should approach a solo, especially if you want to find your own unique sound and style. I made an entire other video talking about triads. You can check that out right here, and I'll also link it down in the description. So today we learned what to look for in a progression and how to break it down to make sure we're playing everything in the right key. We learned about scale shapes and how to add to them, as well as triads. The PDF guide will explain all of those things in more detail, and will also include the licks to the tabs that I was playing in this video. If you really want to get better with this, you must practice and implement this stuff within your playing. That is honestly the only way you will be able to truly understand this stuff. Well, I hope you enjoyed jamming over that backing track, and let me know in the comments what else you would like to learn on this channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week, and don't forget to keep on playing.